All right, now I know it is 7. Maybe you are surprised that we are coming to you live at this particular hour. Well, the only thing that is constant in life, they say, is change. From now on, the morning drift will be coming your way at 7, from 7 a.m. rather, all the way to 9:30. And we have so much lined up for you in this new dawn. We can actually call it that here on the morning drift, with different faces expected to be gracing your screens every morning, bringing you different kind of conversations that matter to you. Now, this Monday, it is me, Brian Amwai, here on the Morning Drift, with somebody that is not a new face, but someone you do know from Lookuptv. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good, Amwai. It's a very, very good morning here in the capital, Nairobi. And I'm very excited to be here, of course. This is my debut show, and we'll be bringing all the news stories making headlines across the country, just for the viewer.
Okay. Now listen, I deliberately left out your name because I wanted you to say it.
Of course, I mean Keitany, not new, but new on this particular show.
Yeah, Keitany will be joining the Morning Drift. He will be with us here week-long, bringing us up to date with everything that you need to know, and also some conversations that we will be touching on. But listen, I'm not too much into football, but I know you slept well yesterday night, did you?
Not really, because, you know, Arsenal scored a 90th minute win against us. But of course, if Simba would have been here, I don't know where I'd have gone. But I was a bit disappointed, you know.
Are you disappointed?
Very, very disappointed that we lost against Arsenal.
Oh, I do understand that. I'm really, really sorry about that. But I saw you celebrating when you scored the first goal and the second goal, and I thought maybe you'd have a win later on. Football is football, though. You know, they say, Swahili people say, kutangulia sio kufika, tulitangulia lakini hatukufika. But we try again next time, I guess. There's always a next time. Now listen, Keitany, our viewers probably are seated at home and wondering what we have in store for them. Well, each and every day from 7 a.m. we'll be bringing you up to date with the news making headlines, anything that will be breaking or still relevant and current. We will be bringing it to you, and also touching a little bit on the newspaper, what you'll be waking up to, what are the stories making headlines, and also what you should be expecting. Then we get into the conversation that will be the conversation of the day. On Monday, it is Matters Current Affairs. So we'll be touching mostly on what is happening in the political front and anything that is current and affecting the people of this particular country. It is always important to have a conversation about the country. Try and look for solutions and also drive it to the people concerned so that they make the necessary arrangements so that people of Kenya get to benefit from that. Keitany, from that conversation, we get into you. What will you be bringing us each and every day of the week here on the Morning Drift?
Of course, having it in mind that this is a show that brings you whatever is happening across the country. Each and every day, I'll of course be bringing you the Newsroom Diary. These are stories that you will be expecting each and every day. Stories that will be making headlines, and of course, we will be covering them for you because our reporters, apart from bringing them to you every morning, our reporters will be crisscrossing the country to bring you up to date in our subsequent bulletins. But of course, especially today, just to give the viewer a preview, the most important story is Raila's Kamkunji rally. So be sure to stay with us until the very end to get updates on what are the stories expected today.
Okay, now that is Keitany with the Newsroom Diary, just bringing you up to date, telling you exactly what you will be expecting in the bulletins tonight, and also just across, during the day in different platforms, that is the social media, and also our sites will be updating you when it comes to that. What are the most important stories that we will be following up on? That will be on the Newsroom Diary with Keitany, and also he'll be touching a little bit on what is trending in regards to the social networks. What are you talking about? That will be coming your way from 9 a.m. every morning all the way to 9:30. We'll be making sure that we dissect it in a way that we know how. Now, it's time to get to the news. Keitany will be coming later on for that particular segment. All All right, remember you can be part of the program this morning by engaging us on our socials. That is at Amwai Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv, at Keitany. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Now listen, you can also chip in to the conversation that we'll be having later on. What are we talking about? We are talking about the opposition and the electoral system, and the electoral body rather. That is a conversation that we'll be having with my guests who will be joining me later on. I will be speaking to Edgar Kosgei, who is a political analyst, and Cliff Ortega, who is a policy and political analyst. Why is that conversation important? Well, the ODM party leader Raila Odinga is expected to jet into the country today at around 11 a.m. He'll be headed straight to Kamkunji to give the people of Kenya a direction in regards to the latest report of a whistleblower from IEBC saying that, or alleging that Raila Odinga did win the August polls. That conversation later on. But now we get into the news this morning. Now, 4 people perished in a tragic boat accident that happened in Kilifi after strong winds capsized the boat. Now, the boat was carrying a total of 29 people when it met strong tides. Up to now, or as this story was being filed, 25 people had been rescued. 3 bodies of women had been retrieved, while 1 body believed to be of a child was still missing.
Sasa venye kutoka hiyo time tumekuja, tulisikia kwamba boti imeanguka huko na watu wamechelewa kufika kwenda kuwasaidia. Sasa kutoka asubuhi mpaka saa hii ndio imetoka boti moja imeenda huko ya diving kwenda kujaribu kuangalia hao watu ambao wamebaki. Mpaka saa hii tumeandikisha vifo vya mama wawili na mtoto mmoja bado hajapatikana. Mtoto wa miaka 5-6 mpaka sasa hajapatikana. Tunataka kujua rescue itapatikana lini, ikiwa ni mwanzo wa mwaka kabisa. Hizi tunasikitika sana hizo vifo vimetokezea. Mpaka sasa hii sisi ni saa 9 hatujapata mwili wa mtoto.
All right, now to a story that will be making headlines today. Primary and secondary schools are expected to open are opening today rather across the country, with parents in a last-minute rush to ensure their children resume their studies with all the necessary materials, as Keitany now reports.
After the long holidays, almost 2 months later, students are expected to resume their studies across the country for the first time, just days after KCSE results were released. In Nairobi, parents thronged various bookshops and school depots in a bid to ensure they secured all the requirements for their children. However, most of them decried the high cost of stationery and school uniforms as compared to last time out.
My son is in Form 4 now, and I usually visit the bookshops. They are so expensive. I needed a calculator, but I found the price is too high compared to the price of last year.
We've been coming to buy books here, but today they've gone. They're extremely high. It's not easy this time around. Actually, you can't even get a book for 500. It's from 6, 8. So it's not easy. Everything has gone up.
Despite their cries, most of them were forced to go deep into their pockets, despite the high cost of living.
My daughter is just joining junior, this grade 7. Yeah, so I bought like 20 books. Trust in the in those institutions. So if they say that's what they want, we can't say they're too much. Because, okay, there are many, but we have nothing to do. We have to get them. So even if we cry to the government or that, I don't know if they'll have something to do about it. Yeah. So I think things are high now, and I think it's a big thing to be done now. It's not just shouting, say government put prices down or that. It's a strategy they have to come out with.
According to a sales attendant at the Savanis bookstore in Nairobi, most parents have shied away from purchasing some of the books because of the uncertainties surrounding the CBC curriculum.
Like Form 1, most writers, they are still debating if they still produce books or not, because there's still a debate on the curriculum, change in curriculum. So most writers are still holding. They want to get the clear information about the change in curriculum. Most parents are not buying because they think that maybe the books may not be in use in the next curriculum, or they may not be fully utilized in this year.
Keitany, Lookuptv.
Right, now we take another story. Now, as the dust settled over KCSE's results release, Kisii County schools that had declined from featuring in better exam performance emerged to wield their former academic share. Now, such school is Ibacho High School in Masaba South, which shot up and posted a mean score of 7.053 from the previous year's 4.6.
Ibacho High School in Masaba South Sub-County in Kisii County shot up and posted a mean score of 7.053 from the previous year's 4.6 and managed to take 87 out of 153 candidates to public universities. According to the school's principal, Philip Ochoi, the feat was a positive deviation of 2.6, in which the number of students to join institutions of higher learning tripled.
We are happy as a school that we have received all our KCSE results of our students who sat for their examination last year. And we are happy and we thank God that the students have greatly improved and have made us proud compared to the previous performance, where we had the previous performance of a mean of 4.6 and now we have an improvement index of 2.6 and now we are 7.05.
Ochoi described the outcome as a great improvement and assured stakeholders of the school's commitment to earn better performance through sheer discipline and hard work.
Thank God for the cooperation that has been exhibited, and we realized with my colleagues, the teachers, the non-teaching staff, the Parents Association, the Board of Management, and the community of Ibacho High School. The students were equally disciplined, they were committed to do their work, and we believe that in future even we shall improve more than we have done. So the parents and the stakeholders, we assure them that this is a school to be. It's a school that is in an upward trajectory where discipline is the order of the day, order, hard working, and all that. Performance does not just come, it has to be earned.
Now, President William Ruto has hit out the opposition leaders over a planned Kamukunji rally slated for Monday. Now, speaking during a church service in Kirinyaga County, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have accused Odinga of attempting to disrupt peace of the country for their own gain. Shadrach Kaderia with this report.
With few hours remaining before the Azimio leader Raila Odinga lands in the country from South Africa, before holding a public rally at Kamukunji ground, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have ate out at Odinga over the planned meeting, terming the move as a way of steering chaos in the country. Speaking at Kirugoya in Kirinyaga County, during a church service, the head of state accused Odinga of intimidating the government, stating that he will remain focused in his bid to unite the country.
Na mimi siwezi kuruhusu ati watu wachache waende kona pale ati watupangie njama ya kututisha, ati wanatupangia sijui maandamano, ati sisi tuache kushughulikia mahitaji ya wananchi wa Kenya, ati sisi tukuje hapo ati tushughulikie mahitaji yao. Wamezoea hiyo tabia, lakini we are telling them the end has come.
According to the DP Gachagua, Odinga is aiming at getting a stake in the government through demonstration.
Sasa hii maneno unalete, tunakujua. Unataka atikulete na muna hii ati utuzie uoga ati tukuite. Ati vile tulienda hapa Nyanza juzi ati unafikiria tunaweza kuita wewe. Wewe hapana uzia huyu rais wetu uoga.
Among the key issues Odinga is expected to address includes declaring a next move for the Azimio coalition about allegations made by Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni, citing to have found fresh evidence proving that Odinga won in the last election.
Nataka kuambia huyo mzee ya maandamano, tafadhali, please, enda tafuta wenye walikuwa na kuunga mkono. Wachana na huyu rais wetu. The president is busy, he has work to do. Wewe umeenda umetafuta mzungu pale, naitwa Jeffrey Smith, ni mfanyikazi yako. He has a contract with you, he is a consultant. Unatuambia ati yako ati whistleblowing.
Anasema ana whistleblow ati vile uchaguzi ilienda. Nataka niwaeleze hawa whistleblowers. Tulikuwa na World Cup. Na World Cup imeisha. Pengine hapo mngepata kazi ya whistleblowing. Kwa hivyo hii maneno mnasema ati mna whistleblow, hiyo maneno tafadhali mpe nafasi wa Kenya waendelee na maisha yao.
Kama hawakukuweza, walipokunyanyasa, wamekuacha nje, wamedhulumu kila mtu ambaye amekuongelesha, watakuwezaje sasa? Umesonga karibu zaidi na Mungu, alafu huko na serikali.
The leaders have stated that their focus to develop the country will not be distracted.
Pangeni maandamano vile mnataka, lakini Kenya itasonga mbele. Tunaelewana jameni? Kenya will move forward. And I want to assure the citizens of our great country that this country will never again be a hostage to blackmail of a few people chasing personal, selfish interests at the expense of millions of people in the Republic of Kenya.
Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
Now, communities living at the border of Meru and Isiolo counties have agreed to live in peace and harmony. Now, there are several people have over the past lost their lives in frequent cattle rustling attacks in the areas over the protracted fights over share grazing zones in the areas. Security teams are pledged to collaborate to ensure that the peace agreement signed during the meeting is upheld.
Lile ambalo sisi hatutaweza tutaescalate. Kwa hivyo mumesema ndovu waondolewe, hata hamtaki kuona harufu yao peke yake, hata harufu pekee hamtaki kuona. Tumesikia. Jambo la pili, kuna mtu aliongea hapa akasema form za compensation zisijazwe tena. Zitajazwa tena. Sababu huo ndio mtindo uliopo serikalini. Zitajazwa tena. Na Muhesh, nataka niseme ya kwamba kwa wale ambao vyakula vyao vitakuwa vimeharibiwa vyote, shamba nzima ama ukubwa zaidi wa shamba, wakati relief food inaingia, hao ndio wa kwanza kushughulikiwa.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba usungumzie hawa, kama ni Kembwanda ni wanyamapori, wafukuze hao ndovu watoke kwa mashamba yetu.
Nataka mandamu utueleze eti ya kwamba kwa sababu uko hapa na unajua ndovu ziko hapa na unasema kwamba watakuwa compensated, na wala 2015 bando anjakuwa compensated, na wasaizi ile masamba ambaye ndovu simeingilia imechafua kila kitu, na wasaizi county commissioner wetu halali na mimi silali nikiomba chakula. Hata juzi nimeleta trailer ya chakula hapa Mudhara, silali. Sasa mimi nauliza kwamba tunaendelea kupatia watu, tunaendelea kutafutia watu chakula, na bado wamepanda chakula kwa samba na ile chakula imekuliwa, wataenda pande gani?
Tumekuwa na kikao na bwana county commissioner na mbunge wetu, na tukamweleza yale ambaye yako, kwa sababu mambo ya ndovu hapa si ya Kenya Wildlife Service peke yake. Tutashikana mkono na national government pamoja na ofisi ya mbunge tuweze kushughulika kwa haraka inavyowezekana kwa hili tatizo la ndovu. Yale ameongewa kuhusu mambo ya OB, kuhusu mambo ya askari kuwa hapa, tayari tuko na askari, ni vile wako hapa upande wa Kandebene wanapambana kwa sababu ndovu ziko kila mahali. Lakini naomba tu mnisikize, hapa tunaenda kuangalia tupate group nyingine ambayo itakuja hapa muweze kuwa nayo ili iweze kutusaidia kwa upande huu. Kwa hivyo hiyo tuachieni, si kitu ya kuchukua siku 10-20, ni kitu ambayo tutafanya kwa wakati ambao unawezekana wa haraka.
Now, the much anticipated transition of the first competency-based curriculum CBC group is days away. Now, the Ministry of Education has been working to ensure that everything is seamless to ensure proper transition. But all this has been a challenge for both parents and teachers as there was confusion on the rollout. Now, we take a look at what JSS, now that is junior secondary school, means and what is expected of you as a parent, student and teacher.
Number 3.
It is an education curriculum that elicited quite a debate ever since it was rolled out. The first batch of the curriculum recently sat for their exams and now need to transition. But as opposed to what had been proposed earlier, the grade 7 will now be domiciled in primary after the education task force that was formed by President William Ruto went around the country looking into the matter and recommendations on how to have it work best. Junior secondary school, also referred to as lower secondary, is the phase of learning between primary and senior secondary school, targeting learners in the age bracket of 12 to 14 years old. According to the task force report, this stage seeks to have learners exposed to a broad-based curriculum to enable them explore their abilities, personalities, interests and potential. All the learners are now expected to join junior secondary school, which falls under the middle school education level. The Ministry of Education confirmed last year that junior secondary will be domiciled in existing primary schools and that KPSEA assessment won't be used to place learners in junior secondary. The resolution followed recommendations by a task force constituted by President William Ruto to evaluate the new system. The 49-member working party is chaired by renowned educationist and University of Nairobi lecturer Raphael Munavu. In its preliminary report submitted to the head of state in December last year, the committee recommended that grade 7, 8 and 9 be domiciled in the existing primary schools due to a lack of adequate infrastructure to accommodate the JSS learners in secondary schools. The task force has until March 2023 to submit its final report to President Ruto. CS Ezekiel Mashogu confirmed that the government has assessed 14,000 public primary schools and found that at least 13,000 of them are ready to admit JSS learners. Junior secondary school learners will be pursuing 14 subjects, out of which 12 subjects will be compulsory. In a new curriculum design, KICD indicated that the 14 subjects include English, Kiswahili, mathematics, integrated science, health education, pre-technical and pre-career, social studies, religious education, business studies, agriculture, life skills education, physical education and sports, and foreign languages. Optional subjects provided to learners include at least one and at most two subjects from the following: visual arts, performing arts, home science, computer science, foreign languages, which include German, French, Mandarin and Arabic, Kenya sign languages and indigenous languages. On matters uniform, learners transitioning to grade 7 will be required to wear a different color or type of uniform that will differentiate them from pupils in primary school. Mashogu said parents will have to bear the responsibility of buying uniforms for their children. According to the Education CS, other than the uniform cost, the government will cater for the tuition fees for all learners in JSS. Consequently, school heads not providing boarding services have been prohibited from charging parents and guardians any additional fees. Mashogu said the government has set aside 9.6 billion to support junior secondary school education. The state is said to hire 30,000 teachers to facilitate the transition to JSS and bridge the teacher shortage in the country. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu announced interim guidelines for the rollout of secondary school education. In the new guidelines, the Board of Management of Primary School that domiciles the junior secondary school will constitute a special subcommittee to spearhead the management of education and resources of the school. The head of the primary school that domiciles the junior secondary school will serve as secretary, but the chairperson will be a member of the committee. All private junior secondary schools will establish and operationalize BOMs, Board of Directors or Boards of Trustees, in accordance with Section 52 of the Basic Education Act. In addition, a public junior secondary school will be headed by the head teachers of the public primary school that domiciles it during the interim period of the transition ending December 30th, 2023. The CS said textbooks and hard copies of the grade 7 curriculum designs would be made available for all schools, and the Kenya National Examination Council will provide guidelines on the conduct of assessments in junior secondary schools. Further, the infrastructure and resources of existing primary schools will be utilized by the respective domicile junior secondary schools in the transition period of 1 year. The CS said comprehensive guidelines will be issued to schools in a circular to be released by the ministry next week. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi. All right, now that was a detailed explanation in regards to JSS, that is Junior Secondary School. Now, we do understand that at the end of the month, that is 30th, the students are expected to be reporting back to school. And just like we said, it will be domiciled in their primary school. So there's no transition all the way to a different secondary school. And this comes after, different deliberations and just the task force moving across the country, collecting views from Kenyans in regards to that. Okay, I think in matters current affairs, you are now up to date. Now listen, I want to take a short break here. When I come back, I'll be looking at what is happening on the newspapers, and I'll be engaging my guest who is already in studio. Edgar Kosgei will be joining me in a few to just talk about, look at what is making headlines on the dailies, and that is the Daily Nation and also the Standard. Then later on, we'll be getting into the big conversation of the day, and that is the opposition and the Electoral Commission, because we do understand that Raila Odinga is expected to address the country at the Kamukunji grounds here in Nairobi today and give a direction in regards to what happened or what has been the latest development in regards to the election that was conducted on the 9th of August rather, last year. That's coming your way in just a few. Don't go too far.
Looking for an institution to further your studies and wholesome growth in serene environment? Kenya Methodist University is your best